My name is Tara King. I was born Tara Dunlap. My mother's name is Jean Elizabeth Dunlap, and I am one of her 7 children. I was always told that her smile, when she walked into a room, she lit up the room. And I was always taught how kind she was and generous she was.
December 30th, 1976 was a typically cold Chicago evening. Elizabeth Dunlap and her 7 children were gathered at a family party at her mother's home in Chicago's West Garfield Park neighborhood. Elizabeth was preparing for the new year with her children, who ranged in age from 12 years old to her baby Tennille, who was just 7 weeks. Elizabeth would never see 1977. Elizabeth decided to bundle up her 2 youngest children, Tennille and 4-year-old Tara, and take them to her grandmother's home in the nearby Austin neighborhood. At approximately 2 a.m. on the last day of 1976, Elizabeth left her mother's home with her 2 youngest children in tow into the cold Chicago morning. Elizabeth's mother did not want her daughter and grandchildren out in the elements, so she sent 2 of Elizabeth's sisters out to find them. The girls found their sister and her children at a bus stop at Madison and Karloff. They pled with Elizabeth to come back to their mother's home. As this was going on, a man pulled up and asked Elizabeth if she wanted a ride to get her and her children out of the cold. Elizabeth accepted the offer. Her sisters watched as the taillights of the vehicle disappeared westbound down Madison. Elizabeth and her children would never reach her grandmother's house.
I want to say several minutes into us getting in the car, my mother stated that you're going the wrong way. She said that 2 more times. You're going the wrong way. The car pulled over. I was later told by the police that it was an alley that he pulled over into. The man got out of the car and came around the car and opened up her door. And he pulled her out of the car. I was later told that that's where she was raped and murdered. He came back to the car and removed me and my little sister, and he put my little sister on one side and he put me on the other side of my mom, and then he took my shoes and my socks and my coat off and my hat and my gloves, everything that I had on besides my clothes that I was left with. And then he went and got in the car and pulled off. My mom was left in the alley without any clothes on.
Later that morning at approximately 5 a.m., several teens who were leaving an all-night house party in the 300 block of North Long noticed a body lying in the alley. They were afraid to approach and went back in the house to call the police. An autopsy confirmed what was suspected. Elizabeth Dunlap was sexually assaulted and violently murdered. She suffered multiple traumatic injuries to her head, neck, and body that collectively proved fatal. She was beaten to death. Detectives interviewed her sisters, who provided a physical description of the person who drove away with Elizabeth and her children. They described him as a black man, 25 to 30 years of age, thin build with a dark complexion. He had a short, natural haircut and was clean shaven. He was wearing a black coat or jacket and drove a red or maroon sedan with a black vinyl top. A police sketch artist created a rendering of the subject. That sketch and description of the vehicle were placed on a flyer and distributed to the public. I believe there are people who have information that could lead to the identification and apprehension of the person who committed this heinous crime. Any piece of information, no matter how small, may be the key to solving this case. Please contact us with any information that you believe may be useful.
I could not imagine this happening to any other family. I would never want this to happen to any other family. But right now, I really do need help. I need help to answers of why.
We need your help. The families of those who have been murdered in Chicago need your help. Many of these families have had to grieve the loss of a loved one while carrying the additional burden of knowing the person responsible is still out there. Someone out there knows something that can help bring a measure of closure to these families. Our work doesn't end until the people responsible for these crimes are identified. We have not forgotten about these victims, and we will never forget. This case is open. Together, we can close it. If you have any information on this case, that means any information, you can call anonymously to the homicide tip line at 833-408-0069. Tips leading to homicide charges or convictions can receive up to $15,000. You can also submit an anonymous tip through cpdtip.com.